Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, Kwahala Yahal Bashim Yahshai Bashim Kwakadash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to the Yakim out there on the highways and byways, noise in this red bread, all around the world through the spirit and power of our Lord Yahal Bashim Yahshai. So I got this article right here. The headline reads, it says, from the BBC, it says, could Russian submarines cut off the internet? So this is a question, actually. Yeah, so it's dated October. This article is actually going back to October 26, 2015, you know. But this recently was back in the news again because I was watching the news and it was talking about these submarines, these Russian submarines that was spotted off the coast of Britain. And the headline was there that they could interfere with major internet cables that run, across the world, that the world depends on, to get for the internet. So if they manage to cut that off, to cut down major cables, that's connected to the internet, that's big problems. Now nobody could get online. And that's where that famine of the word is going to kick in, That's when the famine of the word is definitely going to kick in. Because the Lord said that there's going to be a famine of the word. A famine of hearing the word that's going out. You started with the elder apostles on down, brothers, we're constantly putting up videos, We're constantly pushing the word out there, sounding the alarm, So when this internet gets cut off, the word is not going to go out no more. So right now, as we still got time, we're still doing what we can to push the word out, to wake up the hopeful elect. Because the Lord did promise that there's going to be a famine of the word, that there is going to be no internet. So you're not going to be able to hear this word. Because mainly the internet was set up, for us, for the Israelites to push this word out, to push the truth out there, So that's the number one reason why the internet was created, pursuant to the book of Psalms, the 19th chapter. So let me read on and get into this article a bit. It says Russia could be developing Russia could be developing plans to sever key internet communications during future wars, according to a report in the New York Times. The article reports that various military sources are concerned about a spike in Russian naval activity near the locations of undersea cables. Such cables are vital to the internet's daily running, and constantly ferry huge amounts of data between contains. There are many thousands of miles of them snaking under the world's oceans. But could Russian submarines really be investigating ways of cutting these crucial cords? Russia watchers have long been aware of the threat, says Kari Gales, associate fellow of Russia and Austria programming, and thinks that Chatham House. However, he added that cutting the U.S. off from the web would probably be impossible because of the number of connections going in and out of the country. I very much doubt that anyone would think of cutting off the U.S., he commented. It is only going to work in locations where the internet geographically is going to create a vulnerability in communications. But the thing is, this thing will happen, because the Lord did promise a famine of the word. So this threat is definitely real, and this thing is definitely going to happen in the near future. Sometime down the line in the future, because there is going to be a famine of the word that's coming. So when the Most High, works on the minds of these elites, these world leaders, because that's only to fulfill prophecy. And prophecy is definitely going to come to pass, because the Lord said this. Let me just get this real quick. Let me get it. I'm going to start with the book of Amos, the 9th chapter. Yeah, Amos 11 and 8. Amos 8 and 11, Salakia. And it reads, Behold, the day cometh, saith the Lord God, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread nor a thirst of water, but from hearing the words of the Lord. And they shall wander from sea to sea, and from north even to the east, and they shall run to and fro to seek the word of the Lord, and shall not find it. So these people, when this ordeal goes down, these people are going to be running around like chickens with their head cut off, trying to find the word, trying to find, trying to hear the words, trying to learn the truth. But it's going to be too late by then, because, Jake, when you tell Jake something, what I'm saying, Jake is always like, oh, they want to see it first in order to believe it, But by the time you see it, and it actually happens right before your eyes, don't come running, looking for the men of the Lord in that day, because they're not going to be found. Because the Most High is going to have his men hidden in those days. So you won't be able to find us out there on the street, teaching like we're teaching now, nor you won't be able to hear us, when you try to, pull out your smartphone and try to go on YouTube and try to look. That's not going to work. Or you try to go on your desktop to try to learn the word. It's going to be useless in that day. All of that stuff is going to be useless, because that internet, and the Most High is going to use these Russians or use these other nations that hate America. They're going to use that nuclear weapon, to shut down the internet, because they got something called the EMP, nuclear missile, where they could shoot that EMP and it could detonate, at an altitude of over America of 400 feet in the air. And once that detonates, what it does, it releases rich plutonium, and once that rich plutonium gets released, it shuts down all electrodes. So when that happens, this country is going to be pushed back, back in the 19th century, back to the Stone Age, So that's how life is going to change, So the things that you used to do, you won't be able to do anymore. You won't be able to use these smartphones or, or these computers, because they require electrodes. And once that rich plutonium gets released, it destroys all those electronics, all those electrodes. So your computers or your, smartphones won't be able to work. So you won't be able to get this truth no more. You won't be able to find the truth. Nor you won't be able to find the men of the Lord out there, teaching. Because the Most High, he's going to sew this thing nice and tight. Because once the election gets sealed, that's it. That's when all hell's going to break loose. And this is what we've been warning you for the longest. We've been warning you about these things for forever, starting with the head apostles on down. We've been warning you, we've been out there warning, forever.